Most entrepreneurs don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're running businesses with an untrained mind. They might journal, they might meditate, they might visualize, they may have even read every mindset book, but they're still stuck. They're still procrastinating, and still doubting themselves, and still having a hard time growing their business. If this is you, this video will hit deep because you've been sold a lie, and I'm here to show you exactly what actually works to transform your mind into the most valuable asset. Let's get one thing clear. You're not the problem. You're not broken. You are doing the work. You are showing up. But if you still feel like you're spinning your wheels, it's because the tool you were given was never built to solve the problem you're trying to solve. What I mean is that most entrepreneurs try to fix their inability to get things done with mindset work. But mindset work is not real performance training. And here's the truth nobody wants to face. Most mindset training is just a lie. Not because it's entirely wrong, but because it creates the illusion of change, while the actual system that drives your behavior remains intact. And the real danger is that you can journal, affirm, visualize, and if those don't work, you don't question the method. You question yourself. You start thinking, what if I'm not cut out for this? What if I just need more time? What if I just not good enough? And that is very dangerous. I remember last year, I worked with a founder who had spent $30,000 in mindset coaching and still couldn't bring himself to actually do cold calling. He couldn't take the action that will guarantee him to grow his business. As soon as we start doing the right thing, which is deep subconscious rewiring, he started making cold calls like crazy. And he started closing 50K deals within a couple of weeks. That is the shift that you should be prioritizing. If you heard before things like just stay positive, believe and you will achieve, realize that that is the reason why you're stuck. Because a positive mindset cannot override a subconscious wiring that is wrong. And that wiring is what determines everything. Every decision you make, every time you show up or you don't, it's not because of how you think. It's how your nervous system is trained to tolerate. If you visualize and affirm, you will not change the deep subconscious rewire patterns. You're not failing because you don't believe in yourself. You're failing because you're not rewired the mind that drives all success. Let's get deeper. Behavioral science tells us that most decisions are made below awareness. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational thinking side of your mind, gets involved after your limbic system, the emotional side, reacts to it. Which means that how you feel about a task is what determines whether you do it or you don't do it. This doesn't mean you're lazy or broken. It means that you haven't trained your nervous system to perform what matters. This is what elite performers do that is actually different. Navy SEALs, Olympic athletes, elite founders, they do not rely on feeling good. They rely on mastering their subconscious. They rewire their subconscious to consistently get things done, regardless of their emotional state. There's a lot of misunderstanding around Carl Dweck's research on mindset that says that you need to create confidence before acting in order to get yourself to do something. That's just not how it works. How it works is that you become confident after you have done what you know you needed to do. In other words, action precedes confidence. So what matters for you to succeed is not having a positive mindset, it's having self-efficacy, which is a term coined by Albert Bandura in the 90s that basically postulates that if you believe you can figure things out, you will do the thing you need to do, which will then generate confidence. It's not confidence before action, it's self-efficacy before action, which will lead to general confidence. The thing about self-efficacy is that it's not visualize, it is not affirm, it is earn. You build it by proving to yourself that you can consistently get things done at a high level until your brain stops flinching, until your identity shifts from I hope I can do this to I always finish what I start. I still remember a story of one of our clients. He was named Carlos. He was working in a very demanding job from 8 to 8, but he always dreamed to be an entrepreneur. He was very, very good at sales and marketing, but he couldn't get himself to trust himself enough to actually kind of start his business. Within 2 to 3 weeks of actually rewiring his own subconscious pattern, he had already started his business. About 10 weeks later, he had a 10K a month business. About 4 months later, that business hit 100K a month. What changed wasn't his mindset. What changed was his own internal wiring. He started actually doing the things he knew he needed to do to take his business off the ground. We trained his nervous system for execution. He started to consistently doing the things he previously couldn't done, and it worked out, as it always does, right? Deep mental rewiring is the ultimate business multiplier. It really is the difference between success and failure. If this is landing for you, there's a reason. You've done the mindset work, you've read the books, you've taken the courses, you've affirmed and visualized, but you're still not getting the results you want. Listen, I've put together a 41-page ebook that you can consume to fully understand how do we rewire our clients' minds within about 6 weeks so they can consistently start doing the things they couldn't do before, which in most cases triples their productivity and leads to incredible results in business. And here's what it all comes down. Untrained founders wait to feel confident before they act. Self-mastered founders act and confidence follows, right? Untrained founders depend on motivation. Self-mastered founders depend on their own internal wiring. In the end, it's not about having a better mindset. It's about knowing how to get yourself to do the things you don't want to do, because that is where elite results come from. Not from thinking differently, but from being able to weather the emotional storm that comes from dealing with the resistance that those tasks create in you. If you really want to go deeper and finally start bridging what I call the execution gap, the distance between what you know you need to do and you end up doing, download the New Execution Protocol. Because unless you are able to consistently bridge this gap, you will always stay stuck in business. The goal here is that you become the kind of founder that can do anything that is required to grow your business successfully, knowing that the harder the route, the fewer your competitors. And if you just stay long enough with your business, you will eventually win. See you in the next video.